So what's up, YouTube, man? It's your homeboy, whatever, man. I just wanted to make a quick video, man, and kind of talk about some boxing from last night. You know, you had a fight that was in Norfolk, a top-ranked card. It was supposed to be headlined by Keyshawn Davis versus Edwin De Los Santos. Keyshawn Davis ended up not making weight. You know, he came in overweight. He couldn't agree to terms with De Los Santos, and essentially that fight got canceled. And Abdullah Mason versus Jeremiah Nakathila, I'm not sure how to say his last name, I'm sorry, ended up becoming the main event. So he allowed Abdullah Mason to basically steal the show, right? He got a fifth round TKO over his opponent, who was unable to continue. I mean, Abdullah Mason, man, he was poised, he was focused, he mixed up his attack, used his jab well, but you didn't know if he was coming with a jab, a hook, a body shot. I mean, he mixed up his attack perfectly. He was efficient. He had great defense. Nakathila was a power puncher who people were concerned, you know, may catch Abdullah Mason with his inexperience and, you know, maybe get him out of there, knock him down, hurt him, whatever. But a solid performance all the way around. He busted his opponent up very much so, to the point that he couldn't come out for the fifth round. You know, Nakathila said that he wasn't able to see. And his eye was busted up pretty bad, you know. So I say Abdullah Mason stole the show. However, the co-main event ended up being Kelvin Davis and Nahir Albright, right? But, well, before I go there, so, I mean, good fight, but Albright clearly won that fight. He was tagging Davis. I mean, he just outboxed him the whole fight. He landed the better punches. I mean, you know, Davis had some moments, but Albright did his thing. Clear-cut win. One judge had it a draw. I don't know where they got that score from, but, you know, ultimately boxing did the right thing and gave Albright the win despite being in Davis's hometown. You know, and I didn't see the animosity between Kelvin Davis and Albright after that fight. You know, they congratulated each other at the end of rounds at times. You know, they spoke at the end of the fight when the bell rang. I mean, I didn't see anything there, but apparently Keyshawn Davis and Keon Davis fought earlier in the card and got a win on the undercard. Young fighter, or at least young in his career. He got his fourth win, 4-0 as a pro, right? But I guess after, you know, the in the ring stuff, while Abdullah Mason was fighting or what have you, Keyshawn Davis and Keon Davis took it upon themselves to go and attack, jump. I don't know I don't know if we've got the 100% the real story from all sides, but they decided to go and attack Nahir Albright, right? Now, they interviewed Albright during the Mason fight about his win, but it really wasn't about the win. It was about what just happened. You know, he had a knot on his head that he didn't have after the fight. I mean, I remember, I believe his eye was bleeding, but I mean, you know, he obviously something had happened after the fight to cause the further damage, right? So he said that the Davis brothers jumped him. They jumped him in the locker room. Now, let's talk about this, right? Because if this is true, which it seems to be, because, I mean, ESPN had plenty of footage of Keyshawn Davis acting a fool in the locker room area, or, you know, backstage or whatever. But, I mean, they were trying to break him apart, you know, get him to calm down, keep him away from whatever was going on. I mean, he even had his, like, young child in the middle of it. You know, at one point he's fighting Keyshawn Davis. They're trying to get him away, but he's fighting to get over to his child, who's right there in the midst of all the action in a stroller. You know what I'm saying? Just, it was a terrible look for the Davis family. It was a terrible look, you know, for Top Rank. You know, we want to see fights happen in these fighters' hometowns, and they put it on. You know, it's you got some good fighters on the card. You know, possibly trying to build up Keyshawn Davis versus Abdullah Mason, and Keyshawn Davis just had a complete like breakdown. I don't know. So he misses weight by 4.5 pounds. Did he even try? I think that he was planning to move up after the De Los Santos fight. And, you know, I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't care if he lost his title. So, I mean, he lost his title. He lost his $1 million payday, right? He could get suspended. You got to think about the bigger picture here too, right? So when you've done something like this and got yourself in that sort of situation, who's going to want to work with you? You know, so he's going to have to go back down and, I don't know, fight for 100,000, 200. I don't know what they're going to pay him in the future, but if this was going to be your biggest payday, your next fight and probably a couple after that ain't going to be the equivalent of this one. You know what I'm saying? He might have to fight 2, 3, 4, 5 fights to make what he was going to make last night. And then, you know, you're not as marketable. You lost your title, right? You didn't make weight. You've had issues in the past. Wasn't it his fight against Albright that it got overturned because he tested? Was that the one where he tested positive for marijuana or whatever? I can't remember, but you know, like it's a bad look. It's a bad look for him. You know, some of these other promoters, Riot season, man, they throwing out ridiculous sums of money. So think about it. If he was going to make $1 million tonight or last night to fight Edwin De Los Santos, he probably would have made, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a boxing business person, but let's just say he would have made 2 to 3 million, maybe more. I don't know, fighting Abdullah Mason. So he messed up his next fight being his even larger payday, his next biggest payday, right? He messed up an opportunity to get one of these young up-and-coming fighters that's got a lot of buzz, so you can't get a Tank Davis in the ring. You ain't fighting a Devin Haney. You ain't fighting a Shakur Stevenson. You ain't fighting Teofimo Lopez. You know, you ain't fighting no big-name people, but potentially because of the buzz behind Abdullah Mason, you know, you still could have got your biggest payday fighting him. So he messes that up, right? Messes up, you know, whatever's coming for him in the future. And then what impact does this have on his brothers, right? Keyshawn Davis, he won the fight, right? He won his fight. Go online and Google Keyshawn Davis's fight last night. You can't get any details on the fight. All you know is that he won the fight. He's 4-0, and even the articles that talk about the fight don't say anything about the fight itself other than he won. All the rest of it is the altercation that happened afterwards. I mean, for a young fighter, that could be the end of your career if nobody wants to work with you because of what happened. I mean, we're talking about boxing. We're talking about a sport. You have registered hands that make you money. It's sad, really. Keyshawn Davis, if you wanted to fight somebody, you should have made weight so you could fight Edwin De Los Santos. You had your fight. You just messed it up, you know. And then, you know, again, talking about the impact on the family, Kelvin Davis, whether he had anything to do with it or not, he did come out and apologize for what happened without acknowledging that Albright was actually attacked and jumped. He says that didn't happen, but nonetheless, he came out and he apologized when Keon and Keyshawn will not speak on the situation at all. But no, regardless of that, Kelvin Davis fought Nahir Albright, and afterwards his brothers attacked Albright. That's going to be tied to him for the rest of his life, no matter what happens. You know, so that's damaging to his career, even if he didn't have anything to do with it. Even if they just took it upon themselves to go out there and do that, right? What does it do for Norfolk, Virginia? There's not a lot of fights that happen in Norfolk, Virginia, not big ones. So even though it wasn't the crowd, it wasn't, well, I don't know if there was anybody else in the posse that had anything to do with it, but it could be a black eye for Norfolk, you know? A lot of people got their money back for their tickets because of what happened. So then, you know, if another decent sized fight or whatever could potentially come to Norfolk, well, they are only coming to support the hometown fighter, those 2,000 people, right? So what impact does that have on you choosing that place in the future? Okay, if we don't have a headliner from Norfolk, will the fight sell well here? You know, every fight doesn't have to be in Vegas, Dallas, Atlanta, New York. You know, every fight doesn't have to be in these type places. Los Angeles, it doesn't have to be in these type places. I'm glad to hear that Abdullah Mason is planning to fight in Cleveland, Ohio. I can't wait for that. I will be in the building. Salute to Top Rank for considering these fights in these fighters' hometowns, man. We need more of that in the sport. I just hope that the fallout from the Keyshawn Davis implosion, you know, doesn't impact that. You know, so it's disappointing. I don't know, you know. I don't know. Is Keyshawn Davis was they getting drug tested up until this fight? You know, was he on anything? Because his behavior is irrational. It almost accounts to roid rage or something like that. And that's not saying that he's a dirty fighter and he's taking anything, but just so unpredictable. And then, you know, maybe what happened after the Kelvin Davis fight was just a buildup of all the emotions, man. You salty, you done blew your biggest payday. Maybe somebody's in your ear telling you how much of this other stuff you done potentially messed up. So, you know, then your brother loses, you're ringside, you know, and that's got to be tough too, you know, to see your brother lose in front of his hometown, even if it's fair and square, you know. That's got to be tough, but you're professionals, you're fighters. You can lose any fight at any time, any given day. You could get it could be you could dominate somebody and they just so happen to catch you with that punch. You can't react like that, man. You just can't. So it's sad, you know. You got people turning on him on air. Tim Bradley, yo, if that's what really just happened, I'm no longer a supporter of the Davis family. You know what I'm saying? Like, or of Keyshawn Davis is what he said. I mean, he says it live on air because there's no place for that in the sport of boxing, and nobody wants to be tied to somebody with that reputation. So, I don't know, man. I mean, salute to Nahir Albright. He said, man, I want my get back in the ring. He's already fought Keyshawn Davis. He wants a rematch. He wants to rematch Keyshawn Davis and handle it like men in the ring, like professionals, like you're supposed to, right? But after this, man, like, I know he wants his get back. I think he should move on with his career and fight somebody else, man. You know, if I never see Keyshawn Davis in the ring again after that, it's sad, but at the same time, like, it's one of them things, man. You did it to yourself. That's all I got, man. I know I don't talk boxing very often, but it's your homeboy, whatever, man. Follow me right here on YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Share your thoughts on the situation in the comment section. I'm gone.